So there are some other interesting choices for sound healing instruments to add to your practice. So I have a small selection right here for you. So we'll start with the Ganta and the Dorje, or the bell and the thunderbolt. So these are traditional Tibetan instruments. They're used in Buddhist ceremonies, and they're really quite affordable and have a beautiful, bright sound. Isn't that beautiful? They're full of symbolism. Here's a pretty little, that's Prajapratamita. She's the mother of all Buddhas or something. She's a little goddess there. There's a lotus flower on the inside and all sorts of amazing symbolism here. But what you need to know that I think is significant is that this represents the female aspect, and it represents unconditional wisdom. And the thunderbolt represents the male aspect, and it represents unconditional compassion. So where they're not played together like that, they should never be separated in Buddhist tradition, because you can't have unconditional wisdom without unconditional compassion, and vice versa. So I always set the instruments together because they kind of belong together in a traditional way. And the way I would play these in a class is I would wrap my hand around the whole top, and there's a little notch right at the top here. So using all my fingers as kind of a fulcrum, I'm just gently tapping that bell so it makes a lovely sound rather than ringing. So I bought these two to go together. Their sound makes a perfect healing fifth interval. So I might use this sharp, bright sound to start class with, to open a session. I might walk around the class, just barely tapping, just to kind of call attention, wake everybody up. So that's the Ganta and the Dorje. Next we have the Tingsha. These are made of a 12 metal alloy, and they won't break. Traditionally, in Buddhist ceremony, these were used to announce the beginning and announce the end. So these are fun to use at the very beginning of class or at the end. I like to hold them down here at their little necks and hit them at a 45-degree angle. Very bright, very sharp. I think of this sound as cutting through darkness, cutting through blockages, breaking up that which isn't needed anymore so that it can be dispersed. Couple of different ways to use these. You can walk these around your class, swinging them over resting bodies, or swirling them over people's heads like this. And this is one of my favorites, my heart to yours, sending energy and intention through the sharp sound of the Tingsha. Next we have the quartz crystal pyramid. These come in all different sizes. They can get very, very big. And they have a very unusual sound. You can wave the sound. You can spin the sound. So this is fun to do, like during Shavasana. What a fun surprise to spin something like this over someone's resting face or wave it over someone's resting body. And it goes, and it goes, and it goes for a very long time. The quartz crystal pyramid. So this is the handle quartz crystal singing bowl. I call it a practitioner bowl. And this is fun. You can sing it, build up the sound like that, or you can tap it, and then you can wave the sound. So this is your sound in motion. As people are in the middle of a pose or whatever, you can paint them with sound or unruffle them or smooth away any blockages or whatever. So it's more mobile than your typical big quartz crystal singing bowl, and it also goes on and on. You can throw the sound like that. So this is nice to add to your sound collection. Ah, this is the Koshi chime. It sounds dreamy, doesn't it? I love walking the Koshi chime at the end of concerts or sessions. You might like this for your class at the very end. It's made in the Great Pyrenees Mountains, and it's got little rods on the inside, little bars, and a marble that just plays them very easily, effortlessly, but very effective, don't you think? The ocean drum. This is really affordable and creates the sound of the ocean for your class. What could be better, right? It's just a drum with little BBs in it. And if you just barely move it, you can get that beautiful ocean sound. So I love walking the ocean drum around a class, either at the beginning or at the end. I love playing it and then tapping my other singing bowls as the waves are going. You can even use this by giving it to someone who's waiting for other people to come into class. Everyone can play an ocean drum, so they just sit there and barely move and prepare for class and create a beautiful sacred space. So next we have the steel tongue drum. This is made out of a propane tank, and it's called steel tongue drum because each of these tongues that are cut into the drum have a different note. So this steel tongue drum was made to fit my quartz crystal singing bowl set. And they're fun to play because anywhere you tap on it, it sounds nice. So sometimes I'll just give this to someone, a participant, and they can create the music as people are walking in. It's contagious. You sit down, you start to play, and whoo, I'm a musician, you know. So that's the steel tongue drum. And finally, we've got the gong. This is a handheld gong called an Atlantis gong. And you'll notice that it's not shiny. It's unlathed, is what it's called. And because it's unlathed, for a small gong, it has a deeper, richer tone, which is what I prefer, rather than the crashy, sharp sound of some shiny gongs. So there's a couple different ways you can use a handheld gong like this in your classes. You can swing it over resting bodies. Doesn't that sound nice? It's got a lot of ambience. You can stand at head or feet and just kind of pump the sound. Spin it. So lots of fun to be had with a handheld gong. They're inexpensive and they're portable, and they add an amazing dimension to sound instruments that you might want to play in class. So, more instruments, more fun.